What's up, guys? Welcome to last week in the NFL Week 6. It is our Week 6 recap. Like always, it was another great week in the league. And how are you feeling about this week?
I think this week was pretty exciting. There was a lot of good matchups this week. A couple upsets that I definitely wasn't expecting. It was overall, I think it was a really enjoyable Sunday.
No, yeah, I completely agree. And for Week 6, you bested me by one game. I went 8-6. You went 9-5. You went 4-3 on the games that we had different, so that's the one game different.
Mm-hmm.
On the season, you got me by about 5 games, so it's pretty close. Got plenty of time to come back.
Steadily increasing the gap.
Yeah, about one a week.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, out of the games that I thought I would get right weren't really the ones I thought I would get right, and the ones that I got wrong weren't really the ones I thought I'd get wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I definitely thought that the Chiefs would win. I definitely thought the Rams would win. I was really surprised about that one.
Kind of shocking.
I mean, the Falcons, they lost the game weird anyway. I don't even know what the Falcons.
I don't know what's wrong with the Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcons are just a weird team now. And then obviously the Steelers, I didn't really expect to get the win, but because we made the picks at the beginning of the year, I thought Ben Roethlisberger and all that. But Devlin Hodges' first start, definitely didn't expect that. And actually, since I'm already talking about this game, that is my game that went as expected. Steelers-Chargers. Obviously, as a Steelers fan, I'm very happy with the outcome, but it was not. I mean, the score was 24-0 going into the fourth quarter. That was not what I expected at all. Delvin Hodges was not really asked to do anything. I think he threw the ball like more than 10 yards down the field like 2 or 3 times, and one of them was a pick. So
I think he had 132 passing or something.
Yeah, on 15 completions. Yeah. So they really ran the ball. Breakout game for James Conner. I needed that for fantasy too, so that wasn't bad. He's had a rough year, and then for the Chargers, I really don't know what's wrong with him. I mean,
Phillip just doesn't look like Phillip to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean,
he's just turning the ball over like he usually doesn't do, and he just doesn't look as good as he has in the past.
And I feel like every game the Chargers have a drive where it's like, okay, if they score here, like they're they're in it or they're winning, or like there's always a big drive where they need to score, and this year they just keep coming up short. Kind of weird.
It is weird.
Also, Devin Bush picked him for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Not looking bad so far. Not looking bad so far. And I mean, the funny part is that both of his impact plays, the fumble recovery for a touchdown and the pick, weren't like amazing plays by him. They were just him being around the ball and then just making something happen. He still had to make the plays. Obviously, how many guys do you see when they go to get a fumble, they kick it or they fall down and then they don't hit the ball? So I mean, he still had to make the plays, but they weren't really impressive plays. But stat-wise, I'm feeling good about that Defensive Rookie of the Year so far.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's made a huge difference on the Steelers' defense, too.
For me, my game that went as expected was the Seahawks and the Browns. This game was a game where I was kind of like, I don't really know how I'm feeling about the Browns still. Baker played awful last week. I'm thinking the Seahawks will be able to go in here and easily get a win. Browns actually put up a really good fight for the most part. Actually, pretty much the whole game.
They were up 20-6.
Yeah, so they put up a really good fight. Baker turned the ball over 3 times, I think, 3 picks. I think they fumbled a couple times too. Nick Chubb fumbled once or twice.
Yeah, I think I said this stat last week, but it continues. Baker still hasn't thrown more TDs than picks in a game.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I think what you can do as a Browns fan, you can argue that all those picks were off tips. But in my opinion, it's like it's on both of them. He threw a bad ball. The receiver dropped the ball. Just fell into the defender's hands. But dude, you just got to put it in a better spot. Honestly, at the end of the day, you just got to throw a better ball.
Yeah. At the end of the day, the ball should be in front of your wide receiver in stride.
Yes.
And the one specifically to Hilliard, where he kind of threw it behind him, and did Hilliard get both hands on it? Yes. But if that is out in front of him and he catches
he's like
it,
spinning, reaching around.
Yeah, so
that's not
like Baker has to be better for sure. I mean, the picks aren't like they're not like Nathan Peterman picks. You know what I mean? Where you're just watching him and you're like, what is he doing? These are awful throws, but it's also just like, dang, he looks kind of off.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what's wrong with Baker. I don't know what to make of the Browns. Them and the Steelers are sitting at 2-4. I don't know what to make of the whole AFC North. It's just it's a weird division.
It is a weird division, and I mean, Russell Wilson came in there, had a really good game. Third quarter, I think he had a drive where his headset wasn't even working. He called all the plays, led him down the field, scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
Russell just looks really good this year.
Yeah. I mean, the MVP frontrunners, I'm going Russell, Mahomes and Deshaun Watson.
I really wouldn't disagree with you.
And speaking of the last two, my game that went as expected, Texans Chiefs. If you would ask me last week, I wouldn't have said Deshaun Watson in those 3 for the MVP frontrunners. But after this game, he has to be in the conversation. He scored the game-winning touchdown, and he just played great the whole day. He's played great the whole year. Obviously, he still has some turnovers like every once in a while, but he's still a young QB, and he's dynamic enough that it makes up for it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But the Chiefs, they've now dropped back-to-back games at Arrowhead. So
they had Tyreek Hill back too this week.
Yeah, which oh my gosh, that catch he made.
Oh, that first one.
That was like welcome back. Mahomes is
yes.
probably like, Thank you. I'm
you.
so happy. Yeah.
Oh my god.
But the Chiefs' offensive line struggled to protect Mahomes for the majority of the day too. The Texans obviously have a good pass rush: J.J. Watt, Whitney Mercilus. Yeah. So I mean, it's not. But the Texans kind of threw their hat in the ring as like, hey, don't forget about us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And then they have a big matchup next week with the Colts too. That'll probably be for first place in the South.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. The Colts had a bye this week, I believe, so they're a game.
So,
they got a game less, but yeah, big game next week for the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
Big.
For me, my game that didn't go as expected was the Cowboys and the Jets. Can't really say I feel bad for the Cowboys, but I had picked them to win this game. The Jets were 0-4 going into this. Sam Darnold just coming back off of mono. I was thinking, the Cowboys should definitely be able to get this done. It's a bad team. Mm-hmm. I don't even know what to think of the Cowboys anymore, honestly.
The narrative before this week was that, I even said it, Cowboys beat the bad teams, lose to the good teams, but now they lost to the bad team. Yeah, so I don't know what to make of the Cowboys.
Dak probably should have taken that money before the season started. That's all I'm saying. But I don't know. It's just they're just not playing that well.
I mean,
Cowboys are gonna cowboy. Every year they get overhyped and they just lose games that they shouldn't lose.
Yeah, and I heard this somewhere, so not my thought, but the Jets are gonna, now that Darnold's back, win enough games that if he would have played in the first 5, they might have made the playoffs.
Oh,
yeah,
bro.
Like they'll win 7 games now, and Jets fans would be like, "Come on." we had to start 0-4 with Luke Falk.
Oh, that's so bad.
They just straight up cut him, which is hilarious.
Right. Oh,
they were like, "All right, we've seen enough."
Yeah.
Just get
You're
this
done,
man
dude. Get out of
here.
here. Moving on to betting though. I had a pretty good week overall. I went 2-0 on the week. I bet on Seattle -1.5 and the Saints +1. I talked about how that was pretty disrespectful going into the week, and I'm standing by that because I won both of them. How'd you go this week?
You know how I went this week. I went 0-2. Those before mentioned Cowboys -7 and the Packers -4. I ended up even getting in at -3. It didn't matter. They won by 1. But I don't know. I'm mad.
At least you didn't bet. Oh no, you did bet against the Lions.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Man.
All right. Yeah. Listen to this. I'm 0-4 betting against the Lions this year. They haven't covered the spread against the Chargers, Eagles, Chiefs, and Packers.
That's impressive.
I don't think I'm insane for taking any of those.
No, you're definitely not.
And they're only 2-2 in those games,
too,
beating the first 2, Chargers and Eagles. But what? How do the Lions keep doing this? I don't know. I really, as I said, I thought both these picks, I was like, oh, pretty good favorites. Cowboys are going to run them. Packers at home versus the Lions. They never lose at Lambeau to the Lions. And, they didn't lose.
I mean, low-key, the refs gave it to them, though.
Yeah.
They
probably should have lost that game.
Both of those illegal hands to the face against Trey Flowers were very bad calls.
Yeah.
So.
Towards the end when I realized they weren't going to... Jamal Williams runs up the middle. At the 2-yard line, he's like, "Oh crap, not supposed to score." Dude, just
get in the end zone.
If he has that lapse in judgment, he was so close.
Yeah.
Then I still win. But 0-2, back to 5-7. I thought I was gonna go over 500, but
I'm sitting at 9-3 overall right now. I'm feeling pretty good. I should probably start listening to myself more often.
You really should. But for our For You losers, with the Jets, maybe they're not one of those losers anymore. They will be. But we got 2 Oklahoma guys. Oklahoma 34-27 win over number 11 Texas, and my choice was CeeDee Lamb, 10 catches, 171 and 3 TDs. The dude is just I just don't know how you stop him. He catches a 5-yard slant and he could take it the distance. He goes down the field and he breaks 5 tackles and scores. He's ridiculous. Him and Jerry Jeudy will be wide receiver 1 and 2. I can't wait to see what they run at the combine and stuff. They're both incredibly fast. But, yeah, there are pictures of CeeDee Lamb where you pause it in the play and then you say, he scored here. And, you almost don't believe it.
He's completely surrounded. There's no way you're getting out of that.
Yeah, and he's a beast. 28 total catches on the year, and he has 10 touchdowns.
Jeez. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, about 35% of his catches go for a touchdown.
That's insane.
Absolutely ridiculous.
So for my player, like you said, both Oklahoma guys, but mine's on the defensive side of the ball. I chose linebacker Kenneth Murray. He was flying all over the field against Texas. He had 5 tackles, a sack, and a tackle for a loss against Texas. He's been, I think this is his 3rd year starting, and he's a junior. He was co-defensive freshman of the year, 2nd team All Big 12 last year. Definitely on the right path for being 1st team All Big 10 this year. He's been climbing up draft boards pretty steadily as the season's gone on. I can see him maybe around 3rd, maybe sneaking into the 2nd as of right now. I think it'd be a pretty good value pick for someone like the Giants who needs a linebacker pretty desperately right now. He's pretty solid in coverage, dude, too. He's really aggressive when he's blitzing. I think he'd be a pretty good linebacker. I think he'll keep rising, honestly.
Yeah, and so I obviously watched this game and actually lost a bet on it. So but I can't believe he only had 5 tackles.
Yeah, same.
I get it. It must have been a lot of plays where he was maybe the 2nd one there, or he got there or maybe he missed the original tackle, but he slid the guy out for another guy to tackle because he was just flying.
He's
everywhere.
Everywhere.
He's fast. He's strong. He looks like a linebacker. He looks like a linebacker. Yeah, definitely. Any team that needs some help tackling would be nice to have Kenneth Murray.
Yep.
But with that, guys, that is our show. That is our Week 6 recap. As I said, pretty good week in the league. Pretty normal. Got some upsets that I definitely didn't see coming.
No.
But overall, we'll see you guys next week. Be sure to like and subscribe.
Yep. See you guys.